When you're looking for common multiples, and especially the least common multiples, it's really important for you to understand what multiples are. Multiples are the products you get when you multiply a number times every other number. And if we're looking for common multiples, what we're going to do is we're going to make a list of a bunch of multiples for each number. Now, I'm not going to say all the multiples because multiples can go on and on and on forever. So what we want to do is just make a list of multiples for these two numbers. So we're going to start off with 4, and the multiples of 4 are going to be the answers or the products we get when we do 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And then we'll do 4 times 2, which is 8. And we'll do 4 times 3, which is 12. And we'll do 4 times 4, 16. 4 times 5, 20. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 7 would be 28. 4 times 8 would be 32. 4 times 9 would be 36. And we'll stop with 4 times 10, which would be 40. Now I'm going to list the multiples that I have for 6. Same thing. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. And 6 times 10 will be 60. So these are a list of multiples. And again, not all the multiples, because I can do 4 times a billion and still keep going. So we just make a list of multiples. Then we want to circle any multiples that they have in common. So for example, if I look at these numbers, I can see that both of these, 4 and 6, have a multiple of 12. So 12 would be a common multiple. I can also see that they both have a 24. So 24 would be a common multiple. And finally, in this list, I can see they both have a 36. So 36 would be a common multiple. And if I keep listing my multiples, I'll keep getting more common multiples. So we don't worry about all the multiples that often. One of the main things we worry about is the least common multiple. Now to find the least common multiple, we're going to start off the same way by listing our multiples. And so here we'll go. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 10 is 30. Now I'm going to make a list of multiples for 8. And I'll do 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. And 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. And I'll do one more. 8 times 5 is 40. I want to look for any multiple that they have in common. And if I look, I notice that both of these numbers have a 24 in common. Now, as I said, if I keep going, I'll get more and more multiples in common. But what I want is not all the multiples they have in common. I want just the one that's the least common multiple. And in this case, the lowest common multiple that they have, the least common multiple, is going to equal 24. Now let's go back to the previous slide for just a second. We had all of these multiples in common. We had 12, we had 24, we had 36. If I were looking for just the least common multiple, I'm going to look for just the one that's the lowest in value, which would be 12. Okay? So there can be more than one common multiple, but the least common multiple is the one with the lowest value.